If you've seen any of my recent videos, you probably know I spent a decent amount of time in the jungles of Indonesia this last summer. And I've had a lot of people ask about the gear I took with me into the jungle. So today I wanted to go over and talk about just that, the gear I took with me to the jungle. So let's get into it. I actually only took one lens with me into the jungle, and that has to do with how unpredictable the environment of the jungle actually is. So with things like the humidity and just all the elements that you can run into when you're out in the jungle for days on end, I knew I didn't want to be swapping lenses and dealing with exposing my sensor to any kind of moisture or different things like that. So I needed one lens that could do it all. I needed to be able to get wide enough where I could film myself handheld, and also where I could punch in and film some wildlife like the orangutans I got to film. And that's why I chose to bring this Tamron 35-150 f2 to 2.8 because it is incredibly versatile. It may not be as wide as I would ideally like, but I tested it before I left to make sure I would still be able to handhold some shots of talking to the camera, and when I fully extend my arm out and hold it by the lens, I was able to do that. And if you combine that with the 150mm reach, it was just a no-brainer for me to take this all-in-one lens. The camera body I brought was the Sony a7 IV, which is actually what I'm shooting on right now. It is such a great hybrid camera. It shoots great high-quality 4K video and 33-megapixel stills, which is perfect for me. Couldn't really ask for anything more. My favorite feature on the camera is the APS-C crop mode, which crops in 1.5 times on my video. So if I'm shooting 4K footage, it'll crop in, but it'll still be 4K, which is awesome. So in the scenario where I'm punched in on the 35-150 at 150mm, and I use that 1.5 crop mode, it essentially makes it a 225mm lens equivalent, which is huge when you're trying to get that extra reach to capture that wildlife. The only downside to the a7 IV is when you're shooting in 4K 60 frames per second, that 1.5 crop mode is always enabled. You're not able to disable it. So it's a little unfortunate, but you just have to figure out how to work around it. I shoot all of my footage handheld, so it's really important for me that my camera body has IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization, and the a7 IV has it. So it's super helpful to remove any of those handheld jitters that you just naturally get when shooting handheld. Hiking through and staying in the jungle for extended periods of time meant I wasn't going to have a laptop with me to dump my footage at the end of each night. So I knew I was going to have enough storage in my camera to make it through each trip. So that's why I always have these ProGrade SD cards in my camera, and I have this 256GB one, and I also have a 128GB one that I'm using to film right now. These SD cards have really fast read and write speeds, so they're able to keep up with the performance of the a7 IV, and I've never had any issues with them, and I've had them for a few years. When shooting video, it's really important to be able to control all of your settings, and the best way to do that when you have changing lighting conditions is variable ND filters. I love using these Tiffin variable NDs because they're a 2 to 8 stop, which just gives you so much range in your ND. These things are pretty great because a lot of ND filters are something like a 2 to 5 stop or a 6 to 9 stop, and with this one you get a 2 to 8, and I'm able to pretty much shoot in any environment without changing my settings and can just control my light with this. The only thing I will say about them is they don't have hard stops, so if you go past any of the markers, you can get that weird X crossing in your footage, so you just want to be cautious of that and try to avoid passing those markers. To capture all of my audio, I was using this Rode Video Micro Ultra Compact, and it's nice because it just plugs right into the 3.5mm headphone jack and uses that power, so it doesn't require any internal power, which is super convenient. And it also comes with a dead cat, so you're able to block out any of that wind noise. It is a surprisingly good microphone for its size and price. The jungle is naturally a very wet place. Plus, we had several times where we were taking things like the jungle taxi and a hand-carved motorized canoe. So I really wanted to make sure none of my gear got ruined. And that's why I brought this Patagonia waterproof backpack. So I was able to keep all my stuff in here, and as you can see, it holds air. It's completely waterproof. So nothing was getting in and ruining any of my gear at any point. On my backpack, I always have one of these Peak Design capture clips because it makes attaching and detaching my camera super easy. You have these base plates, they're able to attach to the bottom of your camera, and then from there, they just slide right into that capture clip, and then when this is on a backpack strap, it is just firmly locked in there. And then when you're ready to use your camera, you just pop it out. If I can get it, like that. For all my drone shots, I had the DJI Mavic 3 Classic, and this thing is a beast. The battery life is insane, and the image quality is just incredible. It's such a huge step up from the mini series, and I would highly recommend. When you're in the jungle looking for wild orangutans or staying with a remote jungle tribe, you usually don't have access to power. So that's why something like an external power supply or power bank is really important to be able to charge your camera, your drone, or something like your phone. And it's always nice to have some extra batteries on hand too, just in case you need to swap one and don't really have time to recharge. So that's all the gear I took with me to the jungle. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to leave comments down below and ask away. I'm more than glad to help and answer your questions. I know we just talked about gear, but my videos would not be what they are without the music and sound that I get from Artlist. And Artlist just released a new AI image and video generator, which is huge because now this feature is in the same feature where you get your music, your sound, your stock footage, your templates, your LUTs, like all of these are now in one feature, which is insane. Let's hop into Artlist and show you what this feature can actually do for you. Once you're in Artlist, you can see the new AI and image video tab, and from there you can scroll through the different styles you can choose to generate from. You can click explore to see example images, and search until you find the right style for your video. You can also hover over a video and watch it play through. Then once you find the right style, you hit select style. Now you get to type in your prompt for the image you want to generate. And let's say I needed some B-roll from the jungles of Sumatra. I can just type that in. And you can use the enhance feature that uses AI to create a more descriptive prompt. Once that generates, you can read through it and adjust anything you want. Then you have the option to choose different aspect ratios. So you can choose 16:9, 9:16, or square 1:1. You can also choose to generate 1, 2, or 3 images. Once you're happy with it, you hit generate, and a new image will generate in your My Creation section. From there, you can choose to download it or reuse the prompt, add it to your favorites, add it to an artboard, or delete it. Now you can choose to animate the photo into a video. It will automatically create a suggested prompt that you can edit if you want. Then you can choose to generate a 5-second or 10-second clip, and you can choose the resolution either 720p or 1080p. Once you're ready, click animate, and then your new video will generate in your My Creation section. Boom, there it is. Then you can choose to download it, or you can add it to your favorites or an artboard, or you can delete it. One of the coolest things about this is once you download it, it's yours to use, yours to edit, and it's all covered under the Artlist license. I just want to remind you that as time goes on, Artlist is going to keep updating all of these features and improve on them. It's only going to get better from here, which is incredible to think about. So start playing with these new tools and see how they're going to help you in your workflow. I want to say a huge thanks to Artlist for sponsoring this video, and they were kind enough to give me a link for you guys. If you check it out down below, it'll give you 2 free months of Artlist with a new subscription. Go check out all their amazing music, sound effects, footage, LUTs, and now AI image and video creation. It's an amazing tool and it's really going to help your video creation process. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this valuable. Until next time, see ya.